Good, happy Wednesday morning, June 16, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's begin. First up, New Hampshire unemployment rate falls to 2.5%, among lowest in country. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
My old roof was an asphalt roof. It was really starting to look ragged. It's an island house. I wanted it to blend in.
New Hampshire continues to really set the pace here in terms of recovery out of this pandemic.
Just last month, the state's unemployment rate was at 2.8%, tying with several other states for the lowest rate in the country. Compare that to the height of the pandemic.
We were up over 16% in April of 2020. A year ago from this release today, so with our number today at 2.5%, you compare that to where we were a year ago, is about 13.5%.
Richard Lavers, Deputy Commissioner of New Hampshire Employment Security, says a strong economy going into the pandemic was key. The job loss is due to the virus, meaning once reopening began, those jobs came roaring back.
We just don't have enough qualified commercial drivers.
The Coast Bus Service will suspend parts of 4 of its routes until they can get more drivers on the job. Bus company officials say they have increased pay and have already hired some new people.
All of our supervisors, our dispatchers, our managers, they're driving daily. And the idea is that if we can pull 1 or 2 of those people out of the seat to train, ultimately this suspension of service will be even more temporary than planned.
Employment leaders say they expect more positions to be filled as this is the last week of expanded federal benefits. Now, the biggest week of unemployment was the first week of May last year, when about 117,000 people were collecting. Last week, that number was about 24,000. In Manchester, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Granite Staters urge to give blood during critical shortage. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When it's time to invest in a new roof, be smart and look at more factors than just the final price. Not all roofs are the same, and not all roofers are the same. Ask the questions. Do they offer warranties? Are they fully insured? Do they use industry-recognized quality materials? Forever Metal Roof Company checks all of those boxes and more. So your beautiful, durable metal roof is guaranteed to be properly installed and last for years to come. Any investment deserves that kind of protection. Visit us at forevermetalroof.com to learn more.
The summer months are usually a tough time for blood donations, but the Red Cross tells us this warning is coming out much earlier this year.
Right now, type O, so O positive and O negative, is in high demand, as well as platelet donation. Platelets can only be collected at our fixed site location, which is in Manchester.
As the number of COVID patients have come down, hospitals have seen a rise in other types of patients needing different treatments.
There's a great deal of trauma cases and organ transplants as well, so that's on the rise. And that's depleting our blood supply.
Over the past year, there was also a drop in blood drives, which is also leading to these severely low levels.
Every hospital in the state is just one massive transfusion protocol away from being in a situation where they might have to triage surgeries.
Some hospitals are being forced to slow the pace of elective surgeries until the blood supply stabilizes.
More and more of them are coming in for elective procedures, but also some people delayed their care and they're coming in sicker. So there's a greater demand for the blood.
To meet that demand here in New Hampshire, 165 pints of blood needs to be collected every day.
Which, again, is just why it's so vitally important that everybody who hearing this message, makes the decision to donate a pint of blood, to do so, now and over the next several months.
In the meantime, hospitals will be working together to share resources to make sure patients get what they need, when and where they need it. Reporting in Manchester, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. North Carolina woman with ALS finishes 30-second marathon in Claremont. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
My old roof was an asphalt roof. It was really starting to look ragged. It's an island house. I wanted it to blend in better, so I decided to go with a metal roof. I actually went to a rubber metal roof, and they explained everything about a metal roof to me. There was a separate crew who actually brought the materials out here on a barge and got it all set.
With that, Andrea Pete crosses another race off her list. Today's marathon in Claremont, her 32nd in 32 states, on a path to complete one in every state. Impressive on its own, but Andrea is pushing the limits of what the human body and spirit can overcome.
You never know how far you can go, even when you are given a death sentence.
Andrea was diagnosed with ALS. She was 33. She had completed a marathon, 9 triathlons, and half Ironman.
Good luck.
I went from the strongest I'd ever been to walking with a cane and 8 months.
That was 7 years ago. According to the ALS Association, the average life expectancy is 2 to 5 years. As she beat the odds, Andrea set out on a journey to show that no goal is too big.
I want to use my journey to inspire people to appreciate what their bodies can do.
She founded Team Drea Foundation, raising $600,000 for ALS research. She bought a trike and got back to what she loves. By next Memorial Day, Andrea hopes to become the first person with ALS to complete a marathon in all 50 states.
There is always hope, and Andrea is hope personified.
Andrea says she's been given the gift of time, and she's using it to make a difference.
If you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you might be surprised on where you will go.
Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 hospitalizations continue to fall in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Come see Darla and Hildy at Clark's Bears in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Visit clarksbears.com to reserve your tickets today.
So far, more than 60% of the state's eligible population has had one shot, and more than 52% of the state is now fully vaccinated. Today, DHHS reported 41 new cases and 1 new death. The death was from the month of April. 283 cases are active, and 19 people are hospitalized tonight.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Autopsy shows man involved in police standoff died of multiple gunshot wounds. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
My old roof was an asphalt roof. It was really starting to look ragged. It's an island house. I wanted it to blend in better, so I decided to go with a metal roof. I actually went to a rubber metal roof, and they explained everything about a metal roof to me. There was a separate crew who actually brought the materials out here on a barge and got it all set up, and then there was the installers. Both crews that I worked with.
We have breaking news right now on an officer-involved shooting in Pittsfield. An autopsy shows that 52-year-old Anthony Hannon died from multiple gunshot wounds. The Attorney General also revealed just minutes ago that Hannon exchanged gunfire with 6 members of a special operations unit. Police were first called to a home on Lyford Hill Road yesterday for a domestic disturbance. That turned into a 10-hour standoff, which ended with Hannon's death.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State outlines how it will use hundreds of millions of dollars in education funding. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
As we ease back into life with friends and family, Mahindra is here to help on the good days and the tough ones. So visit whymahindra.com and build your tough tractor. Your Mahindra dealer will give you a quote and deliver to your land. Mahindra, the official tractor of tough. Get special savings now during Mahindra's summer sale.
Chapel Tractor, where you'll notice the difference since 1955.
The American Rescue Plan has set aside $122 billion to support schools, students, and educators. The federal government says the money is to be used to help the schools safely reopen and sustain in-person learning. In April, states received access to $81 billion. The remaining $41 billion will become available following the U.S. Department of Education's approval of each state's plan. New Hampshire is set to receive $350 million.
Which is a significant investment for the state of New Hampshire.
Education Commissioner Frank Edelblut says the state has developed a plan that will provide some broad strokes in terms of how it will deploy funds to schools based on their needs.
Regulatory-wise, we are required to invest in learning loss for students, before and after school programming, as well as summer programming for students.
And when it comes to educator fatigue, the state says because of the difficult year teachers have had, many are opting out of summer programs. Edelblut says the state has partnered with Granite State College for a summer virtual classroom training program that will offer a stipend to teachers who successfully complete it.
So we have to refresh our students. We want to make sure that we refresh our educators as well so that they're excited to be back in the classroom with students in the fall.
And now local schools have until mid-August to submit how they would like to spend this money. By the way, this is the third installment of federal funds that New Hampshire has received. The state previously received $193 million under other programs. Reporting live tonight, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Fireworks to celebrate NY hitting 70% vaccination milestone. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC7 NY.
In a few minutes, we expect a major reopening announcement from Governor Cuomo. He's promised to lift most restrictions for vaccinated people once we hit the 70% vaccination threshold.
And according to the CDC tracker, that day has come. Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller live this afternoon outside One World Trade, where the governor is about to hold a news conference. Derek?
Sandra Ken, as you know, when the governor's got good news, he wants to make it a big deal. He's got a big show, and so he's got a news conference in just a few minutes here at the World Trade Center, followed by a big fireworks show tonight. Fireworks will light up the sky tonight across the state of New York. The 9 p.m. show in a variety of soon-to-be-announced locations will celebrate the end of pandemic-era restrictions and serve as a salute to essential workers. Governor Cuomo previewing that celebration on Monday.
It doesn't mean when we hit 70%, it's over. It means it's working. It means we're doing well. But it also means keep going.
In just moments, the governor is expected to repeal virtually all COVID restrictions, mandatory social distancing, health screenings, and capacity limits at offices, restaurants, fitness centers, and movie theaters, for example, will now become voluntary.
I feel like it's great. If you're fully vaccinated, you should be able to go back to, the normal.
But while some are thrilled, others are not ready.
The news is scary. I see England, going backwards. They've got one of the variants that's slowing down their opening. And I figure if it's happening there, it could easily happen here.
And there is reason to remain cautious. The governor's office revealing the zip codes with the worst vaccination rates, and many of them are in our area. In Brooklyn alone, Borough Park, Brownsville, Canarsie, Crown Heights, Ocean Hill, and Williamsburg all have vaccination rates hovering in the mid-30s. In Rockland County, Spring Valley, and Far Rockaway in Queens are also bringing down the average. In the city, Mayor de Blasio now offering new incentives.
The effort to work with community organizations with the referral bonus. Look, we understand that in some communities there's been particular hesitancy. The way to address that is keep answering people's valid questions, keep going out there, connecting with family doctors.
And even with the restrictions ending, you are going to still need to keep that mask close by because that is still mandatory in certain situations, including hospitals, schools, and public transportation.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. See you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.